When the engine cleared out, they left a lot of stuff behind.
Any weapons?
No. I just used the last of the gas grenades.
And I appreciate that.
Be careful with that. T-Rex. It scares some of the smaller ones away, but it attracts one really big one with a fin.
This is T-Rex P. How'd you get it?
You don't want to know.
The hills are alive with the sound of... Jurassic Park 3 is the third installment in the series! Released in 2001, this movie was directed by Joe Johnston instead of Steven Spielberg, probably because his last installment of the Lost World Jurassic Park was critically flopped. So Johnston attempted a different approach with the Jurassic Park series. He wanted to try to make the movie a lot scarier than the other two. But did he succeed? Or is this just a tyrannosaurus mess? Well, let's find out by checking out Jurassic Park 3. Alrighty then, so you know how before I said that Joe Johnston wanted to try to make this movie scarier than the other two? Well, he not so subtly tries to tell us that in the opening. But anyways, so we start off once again on Isla Sorna, just like the last movie, except this time, it's different. It's restricted. You know, you'd think an island full of wild man-eating dinosaurs would be restricted anytime, but hey, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I never owned an island full of dinosaurs before. So yeah, this is basically copying what the other two movies did. We see the island, we see the name of the island, and we get some little bit of information. And then, tragedy strikes.
1, 2, 3! Nada mo wala mapaga.
So those people on the boat there get eaten by something that we don't even see. I guess Joe Johnston's really building up the suspense there. As these two characters, Eric the kid and Ben the older guy, parasail onto the island. Whoa, the effects of this movie really went down. Oh, okay, it's just a little kid playing with dinosaur toys. So who is this kid? Ellie Sattler's kid. Ellie Sattler being played once again by Laura Dern. And joining her for the nostalgia cast is Sam Neill playing Dr. Grant once again. So, I guess after the events of the first movie, these two finally got together and, you know, had their own baby. Who the heck is this guy?
This is Alan.
Nice to meet you, Alan.
So, this is Sattler's husband,
Dinosaur man.
Kay. Well, if you think he's important to the story somehow, well, his 2 lines will say otherwise.
Yeah, what do you do, Mark?
It's international relations, mostly treaty law, things like that.
What a story, Mark.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here.
Oh, the
I'll go.
wild one. Okay.
You guys catch up.
The baby's crying. I think I'm gonna go over there being totally pointless and only be in 3 scenes in the entire movie. So Grant seems to have gotten a little bit smarter with how raptors work.
Do you remember the sounds they made?
I try not to.
Ellie, all our theories about raptor intelligence, what they were capable of, we weren't even close.
Tell me.
Well, we did cranial scans of a fossil skull. We found what looks like a very sophisticated resonating chamber.
Wait a second. So we were right. I mean, they had the ability to vocalize,
I'm convinced it's the key to their social intelligence.
which explains why they could work together as a team.
And coordinate their attacks so their prey wouldn't know what was going on.
They could talk to each other.
To a degree we never imagined.
Even though this is doing nothing but just building up foreshadowing for what's going to happen later in the movie, you know, I still like this scene a lot. It really just shows that Grant learned a lot since, well, the last time we saw him.
I just want to say if you ever need
So after dinner with Sattler and
to ask.
Mark, we then awkwardly cut to a press conference? I don't know, this wasn't built up. I didn't skip any dialogue that led to this. This just sort of happens.
Raptors were fierce, intelligent, and socially sophisticated. They were able to hunt in numbers and coordinate their efforts. Were it not for the cataclysmic events which overtook them, it is entirely possible that raptors, rather than humans, would have become the dominant species on this planet.
And even though this scene does come out of nowhere, it both has a pretty interesting set of dialogue that references the previous two movies.
Does anyone have a question that does not relate to Jurassic Park? Or the incident in San Diego, which I did not witness?
But unfortunately, this scene is also home to,
Yes, sir.
well, leading to Grant, who's supposed to be one of the smartest characters in the film, to be a little bit dumb.
Are you saying that you wouldn't want to get onto Isla Sorna and study them if you had the chance?
No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island.
Yeah, that is until William H. Macy, aka Paul Kirby, comes along and says, "I can write all kinds of numbers on this check, Dr. Grant." And then Grant inevitably agrees. But who is Paul Kirby, you might be asking? He's just a guy, owns a business called Kirby Enterprises. What is Kirby Enterprises, and what are they known for? He doesn't really explain it right now. And I think now it's time we get introduced to, well, the buffet of the movie. You can tell that these guys are going to be, you know, the victims because, well, because this guy Cooper, he's just begging to get eaten. Nash is, well, let's just say the other black people in Jurassic Park movies haven't exactly had their luck in surviving. And I mean, even on top of that, when he's trying to explain to Cooper what weapon he has and how it works, the film just kind of fades out his dialogue.
So what we got here, Nashy?
Ironhorn 20mm gas-operated semi-automatic, 10-shot magazine fed rotating bolt, recoil reducing muzzle brake, high explosive incendiary.
And then you got this guy Udesky. I can't really point out what makes him an obvious victim, but I don't know. He's got the voice.
Oh, yes, sir. We're good to go here. Matter of fact, I can lock things down just as soon as you drop me that payment.
So after practicing dinosaur hunting by blowing up airplanes, our heroes then trail off to the island. And why are they doing this in the first place?
Amanda and I just love the outdoors. Heck, we've been on just about every adventure tour they can come up with. The Nile, Galapagos, K2.
We even have 2 seats reserved on the first commercial flight to the moon.
And for our wedding anniversary this year, we wanted to do something really special. Something...
Once in a lifetime.
So, I've chartered an airplane to fly us over Isla Sorna, and we'd like you to be our guide.
Are you sure that's what's going on? I find something a little suspicious. I mean, he says they're adventurers, but I don't know. Some of this stuff is believable that they've been on.
No.
But hey, what do I know?
You're the best.
I know a lot of couples that, you know, trail off to Mount Everest and climb up there for their anniversary. So then Nash asks probably the dumbest question in the entire movie. He's all like, "Yo, Mr. Kirby, there's a landing strip up ahead. You want me to set it down on an island full of wild man-eating dinosaurs?" But no, Kirby doesn't want to land on the island yet. No, he wants to circle the island and see if there's anything there. I don't really think they actually do this. So when Grant tries to stop him from landing because, you know, he is the dinosaur expert, I wouldn't listen to him either if I was going to an island full of wild man-eating dinosaurs. And there's a lot of dumb scenes in the movie. There's a lot of dumb ideas thrown into the movie. But Amanda Kirby, she by far does the stupidest thing in the movie that any character could ever do.
Are you all right? I'm sorry we... That would...
What are they doing?
Yes, because I don't see this plan backfiring in any way. Y'all, as hard as you can, through a metaphor in an island full of wild, man-eating dinosaurs. What could possibly go wrong?
What's a bad idea?
What's...
That's a tyrannosaurus.
I don't think so. It sounds bigger.
So everybody except for Cooper gets on the plane, so really what suspense is this building? Because obviously he's not going to make it to the plane in time. They close the door, the plane is moving, they're not just going to stop after hearing that. But I will admit, when I was a kid and I saw this, I was like 10 at the time. This scene did really scare the ever-loving crap out of me. Johnston really wanted to make the movie scary, and he did it with just that scene alone. Now, a lot of you might be thinking which reveal I like better. This one? Or the T-Rex in the first movie? Well, as far as the reveal of the main predator goes, T-Rex has it down. I mean, that had major build-up to it.
You feel that?
They gave you time for the atmosphere to build. Each time a thud would happen, you know, another thud would happen a little bit quicker, and each progressing thud will get louder. And just a lot of little stuff, like the ground now shaking, the goat gone, the goat leg on the roof. And then just finally, the reveal. There's no music playing, there's no out of proportion thing that's going on. It's just revealed in the shadows. You can barely tell what it looks like your first time. The Spinosaurus, on the other hand, while it did run out, nab Cooper, and it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, the reveal, it's not that impressive. It goes for more of a jump scare than a legitimate scare. No atmosphere really builds. Like, okay, you hear the roar, then you see Cooper running out of the forest, and then you kind of get a cut back and forth shot between Nash and Cooper. And on top of that, the reveal just happens so quickly at the same time. It's more of a, like I said before, it's more of a jump scare than a literal scare. But as far as comparing the T-Rex to the Spinosaurus goes, just them as a whole, I personally go with the Spinosaurus. In my opinion, it just looks a lot cooler. So the plane gets trashed, Nash gets eaten, what a shocker, and then our heroes try to flee from the Spiny.
I think we lost him.
It's okay, it's dead. Nobody move a muscle.
And really, the scene that follows is what made a lot of people hate this movie. The infamous T-Rex battling the Spinosaurus scene. On paper, it sounds really awesome. Two titanic predators of ethical proportions battling out to survive. Of course, the Spinosaurus has to win because we were just introduced to it, and they're not just gonna kill it off after 5 seconds. But it is a little underwhelming to see the T-Rex go down this quickly. But now, after being trapped on the island, we finally learned what Kirby is all about.
We called everyone. We did everything we could. No one would help us. The Costa Rican government said this is a no-fly zone. The U.S. Embassy, that's our U.S. Embassy, told us we should accept the inevitable. Can you believe that?
Paul and I divorced over a year ago.
All right, so why me?
He said we needed someone who'd been on the island before.
Yes, but I did not tell you to kidnap somebody.
So, Mr. Kirby, tell me, when you climbed K2, did you base camp at 25 or 30,000 feet?
30,000 feet. We're pretty close to the top.
You're about 1,000 feet above it, actually.
No, that's a common mistake.
Mr. Kirby, there's no such thing as Kirby Enterprises, is there?
It's Kirby Paint and Tile Plus. The plus stands for bathroom fixtures. We're in the Westgate Shopping Center, Enid, Oklahoma. It's
So I don't suppose that check you wrote us is any good.
All right, now
this is
listen
good.
to me. I will pay you the money
This
that I owe
is
you,
good.
no matter what.
Here we are in the worst place in the world. We're not even being paid.
So they come across this building that was an old laboratory where they actually hatched the eggs that the dinosaurs came in. Because for those of you who aren't in the loop on things, Isla Sorna was like the factory floor. This is where the dinosaurs were created. And then after, a few years of adapting and all that jazz, then they shipped them over to the park, aka Isla Nublar from the first movie. So they finally go into the building where the dinosaurs are created. And then Grant likes to drop a trailer line here.
This is how you make dinosaurs?
No. This is how you play God.
But unfortunately, not all the dinosaurs in here are fake. And as you all know, wherever there's one raptor, there's always several others close by so they can hear the barking or the "ing" that the raptors like to do. So now, it's a raptor chase.
Mr. Udesky! Mr. Udesky!
He's dead.
Oh my god, no he's not!
No,
he's
wait,
not.
something's not right.
Help him.
Boy, talk about lucky, Amanda. I mean, if that tree was just a little bit shorter, I think those raptors would have nabbed you. And the camera. Now, in this movie, there's been a complaint by a lot of people, or at least confusion, that I like to just go over and sort of try to make sense out of it for you. A lot of people are confused that when Grant hears a raptor do this, he knows it's calling for help. But then when he sees two raptors doing this, he doesn't know what they're saying. Now, I do have a logical conclusion as to why this could be. Because animals of all different kinds, they don't stick to the same sound every time. They're gonna have, different pitch or volume or way of growling, roaring, making their sounds. And a lot of them are distinctive enough to tell whether something is right or wrong. It's kind of like when a dog whimpers. When it whimpers, you know it's crying. When it's barking, they're either happy or really pissed off. So I like to think that the raptor, when it makes this sound, that just means that it's calling for help, and that's all the times if they do need help, that's the sound that they make. And also think of like dolphins and the way they talk. I mean, they talk using weird clicking noises and all that. So we don't know what they're saying. It's a similar situation with the raptors talking here.
What are you saying? What are you looking for?
This is also not normal velociraptor behavior, at least in this world. So obviously they're looking for something. Grant just doesn't know what they're looking for. So hopefully that cleared up a bit of confusion that some of y'all might have had with these particular scenes. So the Raptors have Grant surrounded, and it's up to... a small boy to save Grant from the Raptors, using smoke grenades. And this just happens to be Eric. Where's Ben, you might be asking? The older guy that was with him on the parachute? Well, he's a little boned up at the moment.
Any weapons?
No, I just used the last of the gas grenades.
Appreciate that.
Gas grenades.
And then we get to the scene that everybody remembers, and we really want to know how it happened.
It tracks one really big one with a fin.
This is T-Rex.
P.
How'd you get it?
You don't want to know.
I kinda do. So Eric and Dr. Grant head out to reunite with Billy, Amanda, and Paul.
Listen.
What?
That's my dad's satellite phone.
And they do within a few minutes, as they meet up at this fence.
How did you know we were here?
The phone, that stupid jingle from the store, I heard it.
My phone?
Yeah, your satellite phone. Where is it?
I don't have it.
When did you use it last?
On the plane. I got a call on the plane and...
What? What?
I loaned it to Nash. He must have had it when he...
This is awkward. Uh-oh, I'm sensing a classic Jurassic Park line. Come on, Grant. I think you could have thought of a better one than that. I mean, you had plenty to choose from. I mean, you could have said...
Hold on to your butt.
You could have also said...
Clever girl.
Heck, even...
It's a unit system.
And if you were really desperate, you could have gone with this. Now, I know that I tried to help you guys find a little more sense in Grant trying to figure out the Raptor's speech, but I can't really do the same with this scene. How did they not hear a Spinosaurus walking up from behind them? They didn't feel any rumbling, they didn't hear any footsteps being made, no trees even got knocked down. Must be a magic Spinosaurus. So Eric and Alan coincidentally are able to find an opening in the fence, just in the nick of time. You know, lucky, lucky. But they are on the other side of the fence, and all is good. Awkward. Now in this scene, there's a second part in this where I can't really explain logistics. The infamous Spinosaurus can't knock down 2 doors scene, or part of the scene. We also find out why the Raptors have been chasing after them.
Raptor eggs. Did you steal raptor eggs? Now it all makes sense.
I swear, if I'd known that you were going to end up with them, I took them on an impulse. I thought they'd be worth a fortune, enough to fund the dig site another 10 more years. Look, you have to believe me, this was a stupid decision, but I did it with the best intentions.
The best intentions. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
Yeah, you made you Dusty die.
Billy, as far as I'm concerned, you're no better than the people that built this place.
What are you doing? Those things are after us because of those.
Those things know we have the eggs. I drop them in the river. They'll still be after us.
What if they catch us with them?
What if they catch us without them?
So they go down to an extremely foggy area where nothing bad can possibly happen. Oh wait, something bad happened. What a shocker. So Eric's nabbed by the pterodactyls, and Billy tries to make amends by sacrificing his own life.
Billy? Billy? Billy, stop! Billy, stop! Don't, Billy!
Awkward. So the rest of them find a boat that's coincidentally here, and they try to sail to get off the island. I gotta say, this movie has a lot better pacing than the second movie. It is actually pretty well done, and especially in this scene. It's really just Eric and Alan just talking about how Billy sacrificed himself.
I have a theory that there are 2 kinds of boys. There are those that want to be astronomers and those that want to be astronauts. The astronomer, the paleontologist, gets to study these amazing things from a place of complete safety.
But then you never get to go into space.
Exactly. It's the difference between imagining and seeing, be able to touch them. And that's all that Billy wanted.
And then we are introduced to probably my favorite scene in the movie. Honestly, it feels a little too late to have this sense of awe in the movie, where we really should have gotten this scene somewhere in the beginning. But you know what? The visuals accompanied with the music, it's basically just perfect in every sense of the word.
Billy was right.
But it's dark, it's raining, and nothing bad can possibly happen. Oh look, something bad just happened. Yeah, every Jurassic Park movie has to show the predator or predators at night and while it's raining. But here they actually make it the climax, because, spoilers, this is the last time we'll see the Spinosaurus. You want to know what I would do in this situation? Call the Star Fox team. Fox, help! There's a Spinosaurus attacking Mr. Kirby! So Grant finds a flare gun, shoots a flare, and, well, sets the water aflare. And the big bad Spinosaurus is scared away by fire, where we will never see it again. And we had to come across one last obstacle.
They want the eggs. Otherwise, we'd be dead already.
Do it, Mom.
So I guess these are the most forgiving velociraptors I've ever seen in my life.
Dr. Grant? Dr.
Awkward.
Wow. You have to thank her now. She sent the Navy and the Marines.
God bless you, Ellie.
And as dumb luck would have it, Billy somehow survived. It's not explained how he survived, but he just did. He's not Udesky, Cooper, or Nash, so he's good. So just like the last two movies, our heroes leave the island in a helicopter. And Johnston turns a scene that he, I guess, was trying to envision was charming and majestic. But when you actually think about it, it's actually one of the scariest things you could ever imagine.
Grant, look!
The pterodactyls are free. These carnivorous birds that eat living things. They are setting free. And all Amanda has to say is,
I dare them to nest in Enid, Oklahoma.
and that's where our movie ends. The pterodactyls flying off and possibly to terrorize some other places. And that was Jurassic Park 3. So what are my final thoughts? Well, I gotta say, it's pretty impossible for me to hate a Jurassic Park movie. Sam Neill as Dr. Grant. Like I said before, it seems like he's gotten a lot smarter since the last time we've seen him. He really seems like he's enjoying the role and likes what he does. Again, aside from him saying no force on Earth or Heaven could get him on the island, and then suddenly wanting to go on the island because he's getting paid to do so, that just makes him dumb. But when you overlook that, he's still like, you know, the smartest character in the movie. He knows where to go. He knows what to do. The pacing at least after the first Spinosaurus attack, is actually pretty well done. There's actually some really nice talks involving how Paul and Amanda really want to find Eric. And of course, there's the scene where Grant and Eric are talking about Billy and how he was basically one of the bravest people in the movie. The Spinosaurus, again, I cannot even begin to explain how much this thing scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. But even on top of that, the Spinosaurus is just bigger than a T-Rex, more ferocious than a T-Rex, and sometimes from the look of it, much smarter than a T-Rex. And on top of that, there's just stuff I can't even explain about it. It just looks really awesome. Johnston just wanted to take a risk when designing the Spinosaurus. He knew that the T-Rex was in the last two movies, and I personally like this choice. Because obviously, first movie, the T-Rex was friggin' amazing. The second movie overdid the T-Rex quite substantially. A lot of people had problems with it, especially considering that it killed the T-Rex. But I personally think the Spinosaurus is the coolest dinosaur so far that Jurassic Park has ever had. The Velociraptors look really awesome in this movie. I don't know, just the combination of like the gray, a little bit of black, that weird hairdo they're going for there, even that bit of red. I really like the designs of these Velociraptors than the other ones. Really, the things that don't work in the movie is the supporting cast. Billy comes off as a friend to Dr. Grant, but he steals Raptor eggs and causes the Raptors to chase after them. Yeah, I really don't think that this is friend material. Even if you have to risk your own life by saving a kid from pterodactyls. Paul Kirby and Amanda Kirby are liars, and they basically kidnap Dr. Grant into going on the island. Cooper, Nash, and Udesky, not that memorable. Udesky was lucky enough to survive as long as he did. Like, even I was surprised that he wasn't Spino bait. But nothing about them is really exciting. Especially when you get down to the fact that Nash and Cooper barely had any lines in the movie. Eric is just the male damsel in distress. That's it. The reveal of the Spinosaurus. The Tyrannosaurus reveal in the first movie was just perfect in every sense of the word. This one is more of a jump scare. There's very little build-up and not much of a payoff. Other than if you're watching this as a kid, it's scaring you half to death. And I feel with a dinosaur that's going to be the main predator in the movie that our heroes are going to have to try and survive from, mainly, I think it deserved a much better reveal than this. The second Spinosaurus scene doesn't work either. It doesn't come across as scary, it comes across as awkward and like out of nowhere. And lastly, the pacing in the very beginning of the movie. Because I mean, we cut from the tragedy to dinner with Sattler and him, cross-fading into a press conference with Dr. Grant about velociraptors and how they work again, to a digging site where we're introduced to Billy, straight to dinner with Paul and Amanda. Before that happens, we gotta get introduced to Nash, Cooper, and Udesky. And then after the dinner, they're just going. All this in the course of like half an hour. So obviously I don't hate this one, but there are just a lot of stupid things that happen in it that really just kind of draw other people up from liking it. But despite these problems, I personally give Jurassic Park 3 an 8 out of 10. With Dr. Grant being awesomer as ever, and the Spinosaurus being really friggin' amazing to look at, most of the time, this movie can be pretty freaking awesome. Just don't take it too seriously.